Welcome to Sportsbooking, the football feed. This is a new podcast where we talk about football and other sports, but more focused on football. We talk about football analysis, tactics, storytelling, how things could have went in a different scenario for a footballer or for a club, and weekly deep dives. This will be a podcast that we will do every week or every other week, and the clips will be posted to various social medias like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I might post the clips on YouTube as well. But yeah, I'm your host, Leão Muscat. I am Maltese. This is a Maltese podcast, but it is run by a Maltese company. And yeah, today is the opening episode. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Some transfers in this window have looked up and down. I mean, you've got the likes of Jonathan David for Juventus. You've got the likes of Gyökeres. He's not doing the best at Arsenal. You've got the likes of Reinders at City. He's doing okay, but I mean, he's not a standout player like he was for AC Milan. And these are a bit of the transfers that we're going to be talking about today in the transfer segment. And then we're going to have different segments as well. We're going to be talking about coaches. We're going to be talking about, as I said, underperforming transfers. We're going to be talking about how the standings are of Serie right now and the other leagues. We're going to be talking a bit about Hamrun Spartans and how they're doing in their Conference League run at the moment. We'll start off with the transfers. As I was saying, a lot of underwhelming transfers this season, I feel. I mean, Gyökeres is one of them. Who else was there? There was more players, and more Prem players. You've got Gyökeres, we've got Madueke, I think that's how you pronounce it, for Arsenal. You've got so many more transfers that were high fee, low output. I mean, Jonathan David for Juve, as I mentioned before, he was free, so no output basically, as in no money was output for him. But still, the output was basically zero. They should have tried to keep Colomani, in my honest opinion. Openda, I feel like, was a loan with obligation to buy for around 30 million. I mean, obligation to buy at this point is the part that really messed it up for Juventus, because if it wasn't an option to buy, they could just send him back. And at this point, up until now, he hasn't really shown the Juventus fans and myself, an AC Milan fan, as you can tell by my background. They haven't really. He hasn't shown much, has he? Realistically speaking, Juventus, the last few seasons, they've been a mess with transfers. You have the likes of Coop Miners, you have the likes of Douglas Luiz, I think it was, Openda, Jonathan David. There's a few others as well. I mean, some good transfers they've made, Kalulu, and there's a few others here and there. You've got Thuram was very good. I mean, Vlahovic was okay. Conceição. They've got a few good transfers in the last few years, but not the best start for Juventus in that regards. Moving on to my team now, AC Milan. AC Milan have had a few flops this year. I mean, Jimenez is not doing great. Let's be real. He's not scoring. He's just got injured. He's not doing good for a striker that we paid 30-something million for him. Not doing great. Same with Nkunku. I mean, he scored this season, but he's not doing great either. Let's be realistic here. But apart from those two, for AC Milan, I feel like our transfers have been decent. I mean, Estepunian needs to settle in, but I mean, Ricky's been good. Modric has been good. Rabiot has been good. Yashari, I have confidence that when he starts, he will be good. I mean, Pavlovic was last season signing, but he's been good this season. De Winter's been decent as well. We've had a good amount of signings. That the amount we gave in for them, they're given the right amount of output. But I think Milan had a problem with strikers for so long, and we sorted it with Giroud, Ibra, and now we're back to the point where we're like confused. We don't know what we're going to do with the striker position. But yeah, I mean, another really good player that's doing very well in Serie is Como's Nico Paz. But obviously, he's not been bought this season, but he's probably going to be returning to Real Madrid next season. But he's sensational. He's got some of the most assists and most goals in the Serie this season, and he's been absolutely fantastic for Como. Como haven't really done a lot. They've invested, but they've invested in little pieces here and there that they think can put them into that top 10 position. Same as last season. I think they got top 10 last season anyway. Moving on now to Atalanta. Atalanta are a team that have gone through a lot of changes this season. A lot of big changes. They gave away Gasperini to Roma. They sold Retegui, their top scorer, Serie's top scorer, for around 60 million. There's a lot of different things they went through, but two big things that I want to touch on here is Nikola Kristovic, who had a very good start to Serie A, scoring quite a few goals, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's got a bit of a dip. He's going through a bit of a dip, but to be fair, the whole Atalanta team is going through a dip right now. So I don't really blame the dip on him. I more blame it on the society and what Atalanta's going through rather than him. I think he's a great player. For 25 million, I didn't think it was a good deal at the start. But to be honest with you, I'd rather have taken Kristovic. I think he would have fit this Milan team more than an Nkunku. All right, you got Nkunku that by name, Nkunku's up here, Kristovic is down here. But as a player and as a quality of a finisher that Kristovic is, I would have taken him for 25 million at Milan. He's been very, very good. He's been very, very good alongside Sulemana and De Catalare. They've been quite good together. Roma, they didn't really do much in the transfer window. They brought in who did they bring in? They brought in Leon Bailey. They brought in another striker. They brought in Ferguson from Brighton. They brought in. Did they bring in any midfielders? They didn't really bring in many players. They brought in Gasperini and trusted him with the project. They brought in a few youngsters here and there. They brought in the young right back from Brazil. They brought in a young left back, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously the players I mentioned before. But I wouldn't really say there's been any flops and tops for Roma as of right now. I mean, apart from the players they already had in the team, I don't think anyone's underperforming or overperforming in this team, to be honest, in the Roma team. So, as you guys know, this is brought to you by Sportsbooking. This is our platform where you can book football pitches by literally just going online, going on the website, viewing all the availabilities of any football pitch or other sports. We are also introducing other sports. Swimming is another main sport that we focus on. Just click on our website. It'll be down below in the description. And if you want to book any sport, click on it, click on the link, find your availability that matches with yours on their calendar, and then just hit book, and you can pay online, and it's all sorted. All right, guys, moving on to the second topic of this podcast, coaches. Now, this season, I feel like a lot of coaches have been sacked from different teams. You've got the Nottingham Forest coaches. There was a Portuguese guy, and there was Postecoglou. I don't know how to say his name. The guy that used to coach Tottenham Hotspurs. That's a very good argument, actually, because Tottenham, they let this guy coach to the end of the season. He won them the European competition in the Europa League, and to be fair, he played well in the Europa League. In the league, no, he got 17th place, almost relegated. But in the Europa League, he played well. He won them a title that they haven't won in a while. And a lot of football fans across the globe, not only Tottenham fans, they debated whether the sacking was the right decision or the wrong decision. And I feel like a lot of people were saying it's the wrong decision. He won them a trophy. And yes, he did win them a trophy. But let's not forget that this coach now with Tottenham Hotspurs is doing very well in the Champions League, and he's doing very well in the Premier League, with a very similar squad, minus Son. And the coach went with Nottingham Forest, a team that did very well last season, and he got sacked. So, I mean, I feel like there's levels to it. Same with Stefano Pioli. I mean, he got a team. AC Milan didn't have the best team when he coached them. He had the best team in a few seasons, yes, in around 10 seasons, but He didn't have the best team. I don't think it was the best team in Serie A when he won the league, but he won the league with it. And now he went to Fiorentina with a decent team at Fiorentina. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it was the same as AC Milan's team that he had when he won the league, but it wasn't levels below. I mean, you say two, 3, 4 levels below, yes, but it wasn't like you don't go from first with that AC Milan team to 20th with Fiorentina. And I'm speaking about Pioli because obviously Pioli has a special place in every AC Milan fan's heart, and yeah, I feel like he wasn't done dirty. He did himself dirty because you have all those players. I mean, I can go on mentioning them. I'm pretty sure they have Fagioli, they have Fazzini, they have Dodò, they have Kayode. I don't know if he went back to them after his loan in England last season, but you have Kayode. You have so many different players. You have De Gea in goal. You have Keane and Dzeko up front. You have Gudmundsson. You have what's the guy's name? They brought in a young striker, a young Italian striker this season. You have players. It's not like they have many injuries either. He didn't really have many excuses, you know. And even against his former club, AC Milan, he didn't want to admit that we played better. He just kept saying about the penalty incident on Jimenez, where someone put their hand up, they hit Jimenez in the face, and they gave a penalty. I mean, obstruction usually equals penalty in today's rules of the game. But I mean, it was I wouldn't say it was a controversial choice. I feel like they could have given it and they couldn't have. Either way, the ref was going to get controversy on his name, basically. And since Milan were disallowed 2 penalties the week before, I feel like the ref felt more intended to give them the penalty. I'm not sure. But yeah, Pioli basically did the whole press conference talking about that and that his team played better. Whereas, I mean, I just feel like it wasn't the case. But anyways, I'm going to be a bit biased because, as you can see, I'm an AC Milan fan. But yeah, I feel for Pioli because I feel like he's a good coach. I mean, he proved it with Lazio, he proved it with Inter, and he definitely proved it with the AC Milan team he had. But I feel like when he goes with certain clubs, it just doesn't work out for him. I mean, Sampdoria, Udinese, Fiorentina, I think he's been with Fiorentina twice now. And they all were just not good spells for him. The Saudi Arabia deal, I mean, it wasn't the best for him either, let's be realistic. But it wasn't a bad choice, but it wasn't the best choice either in the world. He got to coach Cristiano Ronaldo, which was insane. But yeah, anyways, moving on from that topic, we already spoke about Atalanta, we already spoke about Juventus, and these are 2 teams that we're going to speak about again right now. So, Tudor, Juventus fans, where are you at with me? Did you agree on the Tudor signing or did you disagree on the Tudor signing? Now, from the start of the season, I have a few Juventus supporters who are my friends, and I've always said Tudor is not the caliber of coach Juventus should be looking for. He is, at best, a Fiorentina level coach. He is not going to be with those teams that want to challenge for the league or for the Champions League. He's not going to be with the AC Milan, the Inters, Napoli, Juve. You could put Roma in there as well. He shouldn't be a coach in one of those teams. I mean, especially at this point in his career, I do not think he has the ability to coach one of those teams to hit those heights. Especially with this Juventus team, I feel like this Juventus team, it has problems starting from the management rather than the coach. And I feel bad for him, same with Pioli, but I feel like Tudor, it wasn't really his fault that he got sacked. I feel like it was more of alright, yes, his tactics, he kept pushing the same tactics, but he did change formation every now and then, and he did change players, so it's not like he was pushing the same 11 out every time. And he tried different things, so I feel like it wasn't really his fault that he got sacked. I feel like it was more that he has a ceiling, and you can't go above that ceiling, and that ceiling, I feel like, is a Fiorentina level club. At this point in his career, I feel like maybe in the future he could be a great coach, but at this point in his career, I feel like he has a ceiling, and they expected too much of Tudor. And I feel like he wasn't even that far off the Champions League spots. So I feel like it's maybe more of a performance-based situation where he played good one game and then complete and utter rubbish the next. But I feel like that has to do with the players as well. I mean, there are a few players at this Juventus club that have been recently brought in and that have been there for a while that either don't get playing time, or they're not good enough, or they do one half good, or they do one game good, one game bad. I mean, the only consistent players is a player that's injured, Bremer. You got Yildiz, Thuram. I mean, where's the others? You know. So I don't really think it's Tudor's fault that he got sacked. But you do not bring in a person that has a Napoli tattoo on his arm. Like, okay, yes, Spalletti is an elite coach. He is a coach that if you want to get top 4, if you want to get top 2, you bring him in. I mean, he's done it with Roma, he's done it with Inter, he's done it with Napoli. But that's the case. You know, he's been with, 4 or 5 of those top 5 clubs. He's been with everyone. So, yeah. I feel like he shouldn't be like, he's like an Ibra of the coaches. But I feel like Ibra came back to AC Milan, where he's always loved the club and he stayed there as a senior advisor, whereas Spalletti, he's just bouncing between clubs and seeing what works, basically. I mean, he's been the Italy coach as well. So I feel like Spalletti, I mean, I personally wouldn't take a coach that has one of their rival teams tattooed on them. Like, I understand it's a great achievement for Spalletti and for that Napoli side, considering that Napoli didn't even manage to win the league when they had players like Cavani, Lavezzi, Insigne, Hamsik. They had so many different players, so many good different players, and they didn't manage to win the league with all those players. And Spalletti came in and did it with Politano, Vika Kvaratskhelia on his first season, and Osimhen. Like, okay, yes, they are great players, but then you're not going to compare Politano with Insigne. You're not going to compare Vika Kvaratskhelia with Lavezzi. You're not going to compare Cavani with Osimhen. I mean, different calibers of players, different eras. But realistically speaking, I feel like AC Milan with Pioli. Pioli got the Scudetto tattooed on his arm, but he just got the Scudetto trophy with a 19 in it. No Milan badges. As far as I'm aware, there's no Milan badges. Same with Tonali. Tonali, I'm pretty sure he got something tattooed on him, but there's no AC Milan badge. And Tonali loves Milan. So for Spalletti to do that, and then go to Juventus, I just feel like it's a weird situation, because I feel like we're going to go on, we're going to slide into the next topic here, because it kind of links in. Jurić got sacked from Atalanta for a multitude of reasons. I don't know why they appointed him in the start, to be honest. But I feel like Jurić, obviously, I think was the second coach of Gasperini at some point, and they thought maybe he could be his second, like, to replace him after he's moved on. I feel like Atalanta have so much stuff going on. They've sold so many players, Retegui and so many other players, that they have like a shift going on right now. And Jurić was not the person to coordinate that shift. To coordinate that shift, you'd need an Italiano. I feel like Tudor would have been great. Motta would have been fantastic for Atalanta, in my opinion. Or another person that they actually got was Palladino. Great coach, fantastic coach. I feel like him, De Zerbi, Palladino, De Zerbi, and what's his name, Italiano. 3 of the best upcoming coaches that there is right now in Italy, obviously. But I feel like Palladino would have been a better fit for Juve. I feel like Juve could have gone on and actually won something in the future with Palladino. I feel like with Spalletti, they can win now. And even if they don't win now and they get that top 2 spot, top 3 spot they're looking for Champions League, and they get far in the Champions League maybe, I mean, you've got a guy that has a Napoli tattoo on him. I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't take it at my club. No disregard to Spalletti. I mean, you'd won the league with Napoli. You should have got their tattooed on you. It's fair enough. Completely fair enough. But personally speaking, I feel as though I wouldn't have brought in Spalletti. That's it. That's where I'm going to end that. And I'm also going to quickly touch on the same topic of coaches, that I feel like Serie A coaches get it worse than Premier League coaches, because Premier League coaches, I feel like none of the fans in today's football have patience. That's number one thing I want to mention. And I feel like as well, I'm one of them. Don't get me wrong, I'm one of them. Last year when Fonseca and Conceição came in, I was get them out. But I mean, it makes sense that I was like that, because a team that went from winning the Scudetto and coming second and semi-final of the Champions League went from that to an 8th place team. And same thing with Napoli. They did the exact same when they brought in, I forgot what coach they brought in, but they brought in a coach and he basically shifted them between 8th and 10th, and then they got sacked, and they brought in someone else, and they brought in someone else, and then they brought in Conte. And it just shows that the coach makes a difference, because the same players we had last season, maybe a few changes. We got Modric, the biggest change of them all, and we sold a lot of big players. Theo Reinders, who else did we sell? Theo Reinders. There was someone else we sold, no? Leão. There's probably more players as well. But yeah, we sold all those players and we managed to do well. We were in the top 4. And I mean, that's what it means to be a good coach, in my opinion. Anyway, I shifted completely. I feel like no one has patience nowadays with coaches. And I feel like a big example of how patience gets you wins as a fan, gets you joy as a football fan, is, I mean, a prime example of it is what's his name? The Portuguese coach with United. I feel like, yes, it took him a while to settle in, but now I feel like he's still not got a full team. I don't think that team can be challenging for top 4. I mean, when you put, it's not as a team, because when I see them play, they play decent football. But when I see their team sheet and I compare it with other team sheets, they don't have those top class names. As on paper, they shouldn't be top 4. But I feel like this coach can get them top 4, especially with Liverpool underperforming, especially with City underperforming, especially with these smaller teams that did really well last season not doing as well. Newcastle, Aston Villa, and all these small clubs, they're not doing as well this season. And I feel like that could be a big factor in getting United into the Champions League. And that's all thanks to the patience that the board had with him. And I know obviously they can't sack him because they just brought him in and they already have to pay other coaches that they sacked and all this rubbish. But at the end of the day, I feel like if they would have sacked him, they would have just, I'm not even joking, probably relegation. Because the amount of confusion there is around that club right now, I feel like if they had sacked him, they wouldn't know what to do. And I feel like it's a similar situation at Tottenham. It's not really a similar situation at Tottenham, but Tottenham haven't won anything in a while, and I feel like when they sacked the coach that they had, Postecoglou, whatever his name is, and a lot of people disagreed with it because he had won their first title in a while. I mean, they were right. He went with Nottingham Forest and he got sacked basically straight away. So I feel like, and this coach that they have now is doing great with Tottenham. I mean, fair play to him. Another example of this coaching situation is what's his name with the Liverpool coach, Slot. I mean, Liverpool have had a lot of winless streaks recently, and I feel like all the fans are putting the blame on the coach. Yes, the coach is an issue. I think he's not adjusting to all the new players they brought him in, but I mean, the management is a big issue as well. They brought in 200 million worth of strikers for them. I mean, the Salah situation, he wasn't going to sign and he signed, is a big issue, and Salah obviously isn't performing as he used to. Florian Wirtz, which he spent 150 million on, is not performing because obviously you go from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. It's a big gap, and he's not performing. But obviously, as I have said, with coaches, you need to have patience. With players, you need to have even more patience. But he's not performing to that 150 million level. If he is even performing at 100 million level, because he's not. I feel like the level with this Liverpool team has gone down. Obviously, Trent left, Diaz left. Rest in peace, Diogo Jota. He also passed away, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the players have moved on, and I feel as though players they brought in need to settle. You can't just kick out the coach straight away. I mean, you kick out the coach straight away, what does that do for you? It does nothing, in my opinion anyways. Who are you going to bring in instead of him? I mean, you're not going to bring Klopp back. You're not going to bring in Zidane. So who are you going to bring in? There's not many people on the market right now. So I feel like kicking out Slot would have been a bad option. I feel like the players need to settle. It's not even December. I feel like you need to have patience. And I feel like the Premier League is better with patience with coaches rather than the Serie is. I feel like Serie jumped to conclusions. I feel like the only justified sacking in Serie right now, there's two. There's Jurić and there's what's his name, Pioli, because I feel like Vieira with Genoa wasn't really his fault. I feel like he could have improved, and I feel like especially when you replace him with a De Rossi, which is on a very similar level, and you also got rid of a lot of his good players this season. It's obviously he's going to underperform. Same with Atalanta, with Juventus. I feel like Tudor, he could have done a lot better this season, but I feel like it wasn't really on him. So I feel like the sacking was a bit premature. But anyways, that is my take on coaches and how they can influence today's game. But yeah, let me know your opinions on coaches down below. And basically, if you have a different situation about where a coach has done good with a team or bad with a team, let me know down below, and let me know all your opinions on every coach that has been sacked, even if your team sacked your coach from wherever you support in right now. Yeah, let me know what you think about that situation below in the comments, and maybe I'll even speak about it in the next podcast. So the third topic in today's podcast, and it's a very interesting one, is talent versus work rate. Now, we've all seen that player that we're like, oh my god, this guy's going to be the next big thing. We saw it with so many different players. I'm going to give you smaller examples, but Hakim Mastur, whoever remembers him at AC Milan, he was the next big thing. And where is he now? He's with like a third division Italian team. I mean, you got Greenwood, you got Rashford, you got all of these players. I'm not saying they're bad, but you got all these players that had talent and still have the talent, but they don't have the discipline, they don't have the work rate, they don't have the mindset. I mean, and a few older examples, Balotelli. I mean, he could have been one of the best strikers that ever lived. I honestly believe that. If he had the work rate that Modric has as a player, he could have been the best striker that ever lived. He could have been up there with the names of Suarez, Ibra, Ronaldo, and all these players. He could have. In my honest opinion, Balotelli could have been the best striker of all time. But he didn't have the drive, he didn't have the motivation, he didn't have... I mean, football wasn't his life. Whereas these other players, football is... I mean, apart from obviously their family and marriage and their house, whatever, football is their life. They train for it, and it is their life. It is their job, but it is their life as well. And I feel like with most of the good players that used to play, I mean, one of them being Modric that still plays, I feel like it's the same thing. He lives healthily. He's a great person, great personality. He has the drive to work, and that's where I think there's a difference between nowadays and what used to be. I mean, Ronaldo, Messi, Kroos, Modric, Ibrahimovic, Suarez. There's so many more players that I can mention. Vidal, Pirlo. I mean, there's so many more. I mean, Cavani. There's a lot more. But Bale, Hazard. You know, just mentioning so many different players. But I feel like those players, and it's not. I don't even think all of them are at the same level. I feel like a lot of them have a lot more talent, and a lot of them have a lot more drive that puts their talent up. They don't all have the same level of talent. is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like nowadays, with these kind of players, like for example, I mean, I can give you a huge example right now. One of our star players, Rafael Leão, he has the talent. The talent is through the roof. Rafael Leao's talent is through the roof. But he does not have the determination. I feel like he does have determination, but he doesn't have the drive and the focus that the players like Modric, Messi and Ronaldo, Ibra, Neymar, Bale, Hazard, those kind of players had. He doesn't have the drive. He doesn't live and breathe football, basically. I mean, he does love the game, and you can tell when he plays, he loves the game. He's always smiling. He's always happy on the field. But I feel like he doesn't have the work rate, he doesn't have the drive, and he doesn't have a few things. I mean, he is my favourite player. I have 3 football shirts. I have 2 football shirts with his name on the back. And I want to get more, especially if he stays at Milan. He's been loyal to AC Milan. He is my favourite player at the club, apart from Modric, Pulisic, and probably Salamakers. I mean, one of my all-time favourites, Tonali. Hopefully he comes back. But to skip over the AC Milan thing, I feel like if Leão had the drive that Tonali had, that Salamakers has, oh my god, his roof will go from like what it is right now here, it will go just so much higher. And I feel like this is the same with players like Yamal. I mean, Yamal has a huge ceiling, massive. But if he doesn't push himself, if he doesn't push the distractions away, he'll end up as a player that is a what if, like Balotelli. What if Balotelli was a good player? He was a very, very good, one of the best Italian national team strikers in the last 10 years, 20 years, maybe not 20, but 10 years, alongside Immobile and a few others. But I honestly believe that Mario Balotelli could have been the best striker of all time. He could have been up there with the likes of R9, Van Basten, all of these top-notch players. I honestly believe that. He didn't have the determination. He didn't have the will to overcome adversaries and his complications with the referees and everything that was against him. I feel like he used it as an excuse rather than used it as a motivation point, basically. I mean, it doesn't help that he changed a lot of clubs either. He was changing clubs. I think he's played for so many clubs, Balotelli. And I feel like if you're moving club every other year, you're not gonna. I feel like his top, where he performed the best, I feel like was he went somewhere in France. He performed very well there. He performed very well at AC Milan. He performed very well at Inter Milan, and he performed very well at City. Apart from that, I feel like he wasn't the best. But I feel like Balotelli, I mean, you can say what you want about him. He is still one of the best Italian strikers in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years. Maybe not 20, because, yeah, maybe not 20, because from 2005 there was Del Piero and whatever. But yeah, in the last 10 years, he has been the best striker that Italy have, for sure. Maybe even the last 15, to be honest with you. Immobile is not better than him, in my opinion. Maybe in terms of stats he is, but in terms of what he did with the country, I feel like Balotelli is levels above. And he could have been, in my opinion, he could have been. If he stayed with AC Milan, if Milan had a solid group back then, because when he came, in my opinion, Allegri left, they had a group that was falling apart. Berlusconi sold the club, whatever. And if he would have stayed with Milan, because he loves the club, and they got a coach that could make him more determined, he could have been the best striker that ever lived. But yeah, that's just my touch on basically the topic of talent versus work rate. Let me know your thoughts down below, and give me an example of a player that has the talent nowadays that actually still plays but doesn't have the work rate. And I feel like a lot of these players nowadays, they face easier to expose defenses and they still struggle, whereas players that were of top level in the past, Messi, Neymar, Coutinho, Hazard, Bale, Kaká, I know some of these are levels above the others, but I'm just mentioning names that are coming to mind right now. They all face top defenders. I mean, they all face the likes of Thiago Silva, Sergio Ramos, Maldini. Well, not all of them faced Maldini, but some of them did. Baresi, Chiellini, Bonucci, Barzagli, so many others. I mean, the only one that you can bring up in the conversation nowadays is maybe Van Dijk. He's a sensational defender, but you don't find so many good defenders nowadays. Or if you do find good defenders, they're partnered up with players that are more easy to expose. I feel like defenders play very a high line nowadays, whereas they didn't used to. And when you play a high line of defense, it's very easy to expose the defense, especially if you don't have tactics to counteract it. And I feel like that's something else that people nowadays obviously take into account. The defenses, teams' defenses are easier to expose, and if a team's defense is easier to expose, I mean, the players should be able to be better than the players that used to be, not worse. We don't have a player on the level of Messi, Ronaldo, Modric, Neymar, Hazard. There's no players nowadays that are on the level. In my opinion, you can say the stats. You can state the stats of Mbappe, Haaland, Yamal, Dembele, Doué, whatever. They're not on the same level. In my honest opinion, they aren't, because obviously the defenders were a lot better back then. The defense played a low line, not a high line, and I feel like just in terms of talent and work rate, I feel like what there used to be is a lot better than what there is today, basically. Let me know your thoughts, obviously, down below in the comments. But yeah, moving on to the final topic, Hamrun Spartans in the Conference League. Many Maltese that are watching this will know that we played 3 games: Samonspor, Leão, and the Polish team. I'm going to try and pronounce their name. But yeah, we were very unlucky in the first 2 games. We did very well against Leão. Could have gone either way. We could have got the draw. We could have got the win. I feel like that's the game that we should have picked up points in. Got very unlucky with the Polish team. Got a red card, and then they kind of dominated after. Again, a 1-0, so we could have easily gotten maybe a draw. Those two games we could have gotten. Those 2 games were the 2 games that we should have pushed and got those 4 points. Whereas if we did get them, we could have qualified. We could have. But I feel like now we have Shakhtar Donetsk, we have 2 other teams that I feel like have picked up points in the Conference League, and I feel like it's very hard. I don't think we're going to pick up that many points, and I don't think we're going to qualify for the next round. I do have hope, but not a lot of it, basically. I want to touch on the team that we faced last though, Samonspor. They were 4th. They are 4th in the Turkish league right now. Only above them are only Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Trabzonspor. They are 8 points from Galatasaray, a team that has the likes of Osimhen, Icardi, Mertens, and they've had other players in the past like Torreira and so on. And they've paid a lot of money for these players. They've paid wages very high for these players, and a team that is only 8 points behind a team like that beat us only 3-0. I feel like people are going to be like, oh, well, you're celebrating a loss. I feel like they could have battered us. I feel like they could have put 5, 6, 7, 8 goals behind us. And if we were playing against Galatasaray, we would have finished 12-0. Because unless you sit with 11 players in the net, Galatasaray have a player like Osimhen and players to create goals for Osimhen, they're not on our level. None of these players could ever play for Malta or a team in Malta at this point in time. We have improved the level to 10 years ago or whatever, but you need to keep improving. And I am taking the 3-0 against Samonspor as a positive thing, because I feel like this team is challenging for the Turkish league title. And I feel like, the Turkish league is levels above the Maltese league. Even if they're not the best league in the world, they're levels above the Maltese league. And I feel like that is just showing that we are improving, because I feel like a team like this, we never would have faced a team like this a few years ago because we weren't in the Conference League. Whereas never. Hamrun would never face a team like this. No Maltese team would face a team like this in the last few years, especially on a competitive scene. And I feel like to go into it, and obviously, yes, not score a goal yet, which is a bit embarrassing, but we haven't conceded that many. We could have conceded more. And I feel like all of these leagues are better than the Maltese league. And that is just showing the level that we can get to if we just put in a bit more effort, you know? But yeah, let me know if you think Malta will qualify. Malta, Hamrun Spartans. I hope they do, but there's still a bit of hope, but not much of it, basically. Just to touch very quickly on the national team, the Maltese national team's presence right now in football. We did win against Finland. Typical Allegri ball. I'm an AC Milan supporter. And yeah, it was typical Allegri ball. We defended for the whole game, Malta. Get one shot from outside the box, one goal. Simple as that. Typical Italian football, if you'd like to say that. But we win against Finland, which is insane because we went to a country that's a lot colder. We got the goal, we got the win, we got the 3 points. Not that it matters because we're not going to qualify for the World Cup. But it's insane because a few years ago we would never have won against a team like Finland. And then the week after, to go ahead and get a 3-2 loss to Poland, a team that has so many top caliber players. I mean, they have a great goalkeeper. They have Lewandowski. They used to have Lek at the back. They used to have so many different. Okay, I wouldn't say the highest of caliber of players, but they used to have, good players, and obviously a high caliber player in Lewandowski. But I mean, to have 7 shots on target, more than they had, and to only concede 3 goals, because I feel like a team like Poland, who has gotten through the group stages of the World Cup and got into the knockout stages in the past, I feel like they should not let us concede, not let us score, and they should score more on us. And I feel like we could have got the draw there. We could have definitely gotten a draw against Poland. It was insane. We had a chance in the last few minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And we could have got a draw. Imagine we got the draw there. I mean, we would have went out with a bang in the World Cup qualifiers, won against Finland, and drew against Poland. And obviously, I think we came 3-1 as well with Bosnia, the international break before this one. So it's not bad. I mean, Bosnia is a great team. I feel like they're better than Finland, and they're on par, maybe a bit better than Poland at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, we're improving. Malta national team is improving, but slowly. And even the women's side of the Maltese national team and Maltese Federation of Sports of football, I feel like they're going that much further to go a level above. I mean, there's young Maltese women that are going to play for teams like Sassuolo, Inter, Milan, outside of Malta and in European competitions, and they're scoring for these teams or defending very well. But yeah, let me know what you think about all the topics that we brought up in this podcast. It's the first episode, so in the coming episodes, if you want me to speak about anything in particular, you can leave it down below in the comments. Also in the description, there is a link to book a pitch if you're a Maltese person and you want to book a pitch in Malta. There is a link down below in the description, sportsbooking.mt. You can book a football pitch to play, a 5-a-side, 11-a-side, whatever. And there is also a few other sports. We have a few venues that you can book, whether it's gyms, swimming, whatsoever. You can visit our link, see if there's anything you fancy, and book the pitch, book the membership, whatever you want to book or purchase from our website. Go ahead and view our website and see if there's anything you like, suits your fancy. And yeah, that's basically it. Follow us on all platforms. We're going to be bringing out these podcasts on all of our platforms, and also clips of these podcasts will also be brought out on all of our platforms as well. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, obviously hit the like button, and yeah, as always guys, hope you enjoyed. Again, leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and I mean, I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Ciao guys.